Great. Welcome to Digital Asset News, everybody. So we got a lot of things to cover. And before we even start going over some things, I want to just make mention of things that have been coming off in the comments section. And I want to start, and I understand exactly where everybody's coming from. So let's just start with this. And I'll tell you everything that we're going to go over. We're going to go over why you're being fooled, or I think that you're fooled. I'm going to tell you exactly why I believe that the price is going down. It's actually quite simple. But before we do that, let's talk about this. First of all, Organic 723 is not a troll. He's just upset, like I think a lot of other people are in this environment. And I can understand, because when I got back in when I got started in 2017, I was the same exact way. Everything was going to the moon. It was going to be awesome. And then boom, it just took a nosedive, right? So there's going to be people who are ticked off. I was ticked off back then too. And then all I just said was, well, I'm just going to wait around and see how it goes. And it worked out pretty well. So Organic says this. Can't wait for how Bitcoin gets to a 1 million. What happened, man? Integrity, not as shiny as YouTube, need attention. And I will just tell you this. The comments section wouldn't be like this if Bitcoin was 100K. Can we all just agree with that? I think we're all a little ticked off that this market is exactly where it's at. And that's just how it is. And then Organic says, I just feel like things were valuable back then. And maybe that may be true, but you have to understand. And then he talks about, how you got to tell me how honestly the price is going to go down. So here's the thing. All these things that are going on is an emotional response. Let's just be honest. Again, if Bitcoin was up to 100K, we wouldn't have this issue. So for all the moderators, don't ban Organic or shut them up, whatever else. It's just, that's how people are. We have to understand everybody's going through their own simple battles. So let's just talk exactly today what's going on behind the scenes and why we're having these issues. So let's jump right in. First of all, if you're here for the live stream, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Kind of an easy way to start this. There's going to be timestamps below after this, after I put them in, after we do the live stream, so you can jump around. But in all honesty, it just makes sense to go in a linear fashion from start to finish, because the things I'm going to talk about only make sense going from start to finish. So I'm going to talk to you about this. I want you to watch these dates. There are specific dates when I believe that the crypto will drop. I'm going to tell you exactly why that is. I'm going to talk about why you're being fooled unless you really look behind the scenes. Right now, and someone said this in the comments section, they said that some people need daily videos because it's a duh moment. It's not a duh moment. Really what it comes down to is this. If you're just looking at price, which a lot of people are, or even if you're a technical person just looking at TA, really all that tells you is who's buying and who's selling. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know the actual growth that's happening. We don't know the things that are happening legislatively. And we don't know what's going on globally. So I think it's important to really follow up with the news. Now, some people will say news doesn't matter. News doesn't matter in a bear market as far as like good news, because the sentiment is going down so much. The only time good news matters is in a bull market. That's what amplifies it. And in a bear market, which we are in right now, I truly believe, bad news amplifies a bear market. Neutral news doesn't do anything, obviously. And then good news in a bear market doesn't do anything. In a bull market, it's the exact inverse, because that is the sentiment. That's essentially what technical analysis is telling you, right? It's telling you who is buying, who is not buying, because of the sentiment or what people believe is to be true. No, it may not be. So we'll talk about that. And then lastly, we'll talk about why sometimes it pays off to be a degen. And then we'll do Q&A at the very end. You can rip me with all questions that you want. It's up to you. This is the show, and that's why I put myself out there. So let's jump into it, huh? So here's what we got. First of all, here's what we got in the market. It's down again. It's down 1.2%. Also, if we take a look at the S&P 500, we're down 2%. And of course, NASDAQ is down even more than that, 2.29%. So what the heck is going on? Well, this is what's going on. When we take a look at everything that's happening, I want you to watch these dates. The Fed meeting, it's coming up. It's coming up next week. Here's a link. I linked this in the description so you can watch it. This is exactly from the Federal Reserve, from their website, the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. Every time that these dates come up, the market's going to drop, because you know why it's going to drop. It's going to drop because Jerome Powell has telegraphed to you everything he's going to do, which is going to raise rates. Even though people say, but it's priced in, Rob, don't you understand it's priced in? No, it's not. It's not priced in. The last time that Jerome Powell did this, in March, what happened? Price dropped again. And then when there was another meeting where he talked about declining prices, increasing the interest rates, it declined again. So I know people will tell you that it's priced in. I do not believe 100% that it actually is. I think there's people behind the curve, and there's people that don't stay up to date. And then all of a sudden they hear about what? Jerome Powell was raising rates. I got to sell. And then I got to sell too. And I got to sell too. And then it's also, let me just pull this up. Digital asset news. Lots. Let me see. It doesn't matter. There's a video. It goes over bots. And really what it came down to was a very simple premise, which was this. There is an algorithm. And people say, oh, here we go with the bots again. But you understand, they're a little bit more advanced now. There's this thing called tape reading algorithmic bots. And this is actually information given us to MSNBC as they talked about. What was that guy's name? Not Jerome Powell. One of the big Wall Street traders. He goes, every time Jerome Powell speaks, there's bots that are out there. They decipher this information. They start to trade, and it causes a cascade effect. So again, here's what we go through. And I could be wrong about this, but all I'm going to tell you is watch these dates. This is why I truly believe that things are going down not down the tubes, but it's actually going down. So when you see this, you may think to yourself, oh, well, this is an awful time, and this is what's going to happen, and it's going to keep going down. Not necessarily. So we're in a bear market, So I think that even if we have good news, like we're going to go over right now, you're still going to see these downturns. So what do? I don't know what you're going to do. I can just tell you what I'm going to do. I'm doing the same exact thing I've been doing since 2018, just dollar cost averaging. I know it's sick to hear about, oh, you should, dollar cost averaging. But you know what? You know what it's not sick to hear? When Bitcoin goes from 3,500, 5,000 when I was buying it, all the way up to 20,000, then 40,000, then 60,000. It also makes sense when I was buying Ethereum at 150, then 300, then 1,000, then even 1,500 and 2,000. Actually, I keep buying it right now. Or when even Cardano was 7 cents, and it went from 15, 20, and so on and so forth. So that's the story. Let's get into some good news, shall we? And let's look behind the scenes. I think this is where it comes down to why you're being fooled, because you got to look at what's going on, the stories behind the stories. And that really makes sense. So first up, let's talk about this. Crypto bill in the U.S. House would limit the SEC's reach over exchanges. First of all, that's great news. If we can I've always been said that, hey, I think a little clarity is needed, and this is what I'm talking about. The crypto industry's push to wrest jurisdiction away from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is gaining momentum. Republican reps Glenn Thompson of Pennsylvania, Tom Emmer of Minnesota. First of all, this is amazing to me. The Republican reps are working with the Democratic reps of Darren Soto and Ro Khanna of California. So you actually can come together. They like to bring exchanges that offer digital assets like Bitcoin directly under the CFTC purview and not the SEC, which I think would be great, because then we can say, look, if you're under the CFTC, that means that these are commodities, which is what they are, in all honesty. That's how I think they are. There's some securities, true, but they're not all a bunch of securities. I think that especially Bitcoin would be what I would consider a commodity, just like gold. Gold is a commodity. So why can't we call this gold 2.0, which is Bitcoin, and just go that route? And a top on some other ones. So to finish this up, CFTC Chair Rustin Benman said that his regulator is poised to take on an expanded oversight, a shift that many in the industry say they would welcome. The bill introduced Thursday will make it optional for exchanges to register with the CFTC, but it will make it a lot easier because now it's not a security. I think it's a little bit easier path. Platforms would have to do so to be able to offer leverage trading. I think that's a great plan because leverage trading, in my personal opinion, it's only good for some and it wrecks the many. Or to list for sale so-called digital commodities that were distributed to individuals before being available to the public. Thompson and Khanna are both on the House Agricultural Committee, which oversees the CFTC, and all four members are part of the Congressional Blockchain Caucus. That's good news number one. If that happens, great. I see that could actually put us in the right momentum. Would it change us from a bear market to a bull? Probably not. But there's people doing the smart things because all the money's made, in my opinion, in the bear market, and Goldman Sachs is no different. So Goldman Sachs approves the first Bitcoin-backed loan facility. So this week, Goldman Sachs issued its first Bitcoin-backed loan. In May 2021, the U.S. Investment Bank rebooted its crypto desk in response to improved crypto conditions. I didn't even know they did that, actually. On Thursday, news hit the wire of Goldman Sachs offering its first Bitcoin loan facility. According to the report, the borrower pledged Bitcoin as a collateral in a cash loan, and they accepted and said, sure, we'll do this, which could actually open the doors for more loans like that as far as collateral. And you know what's good about that? That means that your Bitcoin is locked up, which is great for me because the more Bitcoin is locked up, the more people are trading it. And then, of course, the price goes up. That's always good for everybody. The latest link between digital assets and fiat follow last month's first OTC trade with Galaxy Digital. So I don't know if you guys remember that. But Goldman was the first major U.S. bank to trade crypto over the counter. This week, there's also news of Goldman exploring the tokenization of financial instruments. So again, it's one of those things where if you just look at price and you hear about the news about how crypto is going down, you're really being fooled because you have to look at the scene behind the scenes. Also, more good news, and we had covered this 4 or 5 days ago. I just want to remind everybody that Bitcoin now officially became the official currency in the CAR, the Central African Republic. So that's the second country that's actually doing that for legal tender. And then also, more good news, Panama's crypto law, even though it's not legal tender, digital assets exempt from capital gains tax. So in Panama right now, you can actually move down there and not pay any capital gains. This is from Panamanian Congressional Gabriel Silva, said the bill that they're introducing doesn't allow for any crypto to become legal tender, I think yet, but makes possible free use of a crypto as means of payment for any transaction. He states we can't just establish Bitcoin because there will be unconstitutional. And if it's unconstitutional, then the project won't happen. Can't do it that way. Panama, this is important though. Panama has no currency per its constitution. It used the US dollar for more than a century. But wouldn't that be interesting if, kind of like El Salvador, they said, you know what, and CAR, just say, we're going to make this our legal tender on top of the US dollar, which is essentially what El Salvador did. Prior to the bill, it was illegal for digital asset companies to set up shop, but that would change once the legislation becomes law. The law treats crypto assets as a foreign source income, which in accordance with Panama's territorial taxation means no capital gains tax. So that's great news, again, moving forward. And then also, I just wanted to put this in there because I thought it was great news for ETH holders. ETH2 deposit contracts now hold 10% of the circulating ETH supply. And this is just real quick. I didn't think they would actually hit this. The deposit contract for staking Ethereum on the Beacon chain reached a balance of 12 million ETH on Friday. That locks in around 34 billion. Deposit contract was launched in 2020. So this is just for whenever that merge happens or ETH 2.0 comes into fruition. And if we take a look, there's a website called stakingrewards.com. Pretty sure I linked that in the description. You can check this out. This is the top 10 crypto assets by staked value. And if you'll notice, number one is Solana. And the reason is because the staked value, it's 38,283,542,000, which they have 76% staked. ETH, they have it at 9.25. This one says 10%. Sure, whatever. But again, you've got the staked value in the market, a staked value at 31 billion. So pretty close. Then comes Terra, then comes Cardano, Avalanche, and Polkadot. So again, if we take a look at what's going on behind, if people didn't believe in these types of projects, they probably wouldn't be staking them. They'd all sell, and out we go. And that takes care of what is going on in the news. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is this. There's a bull run happening somewhere. Maybe not for your crypto, but in some way, shape, or form, there's a bull run happening in certain projects. The trick is just to find those projects. And we talked about this yesterday as far as ApeCoin. And of course, in the comments, you can tell me exactly what your coin is that is probably blowing up right now that maybe I didn't cover because I don't really talk about things outside the top 100. But I do talk about that in my channel called Dan Degen. And it's the second channel you can find out there. It's very risky. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's super risky stuff. Just expect to lose everything. It's not investment advice, just investment opinion. But so far, I've been doing pretty good as far as the things that we've talked about. And one of the reasons why is because I only talk about the products that people bring to me that I trust and know and have already done something. I get 20 offers a day and they all suck. So the things that I talk about here are things that I really vet. I don't put out too many different videos. I did talk about STEPN only because I really wanted to get into the move to earn and just talk about it. But that, I don't really like STEPN. You may like it. I'm not a big fan. I like Sweatcoin better, but whatever. So The last ones that we talked about, and to be totally transparent, I made this, let me blow this up. There's a link in the description, and it's a Google Doc, and it's the ones that I've been talking about, Dan Degen. First one we talked about as far as like getting in before it was even listed was Genso Kishi. And that was a pretty good one. It went from 0.01 to over $1. And what's great about these projects is that when I get in these projects, I look at the tokenomics and we break down everything. And the things that I like to do is just to make sure no one gets dumped on. So all these projects that I have, they didn't pay me to talk about them. But what they did was they did allow me to get access to their team and talk to different people about that and really vet out the whole process. And on all these different projects, I couldn't buy more than a couple grand because that's what I think should be done. I don't think people should have the ability to buy $2 million worth of coins at 0.0001 and then dump on the time it's listed. I think that's stupid. So we talked about Genso Kishi. This is what I have. And it went from about a penny to over $1. I don't know what it is right now. I think it's like $1.18. Then we went to Everdome. That was a fraction of a penny. Went to 4 cents. Did pretty good. And now recently we just talked about Fame MMA. And I've been talking about this for a while. I think it's going to be big. And in all honesty, here's what we got today. So it got listed on OKX. And this is, first of all, I got in at a penny, but I got access to their president. So they didn't pay me. I had to pay them, but it was a pretty good deal. I mean, I got it for a penny. And of course, people who got in early got it for a penny. But also, guess what? When they listed on OKX, they also listed for a penny, which I was like, oh, okay, I guess so. And it went from a penny all the way up to $3. But that's unsustainable. And now it came down to a more reasonable price of around 49 cents or 50 cents or something like that. So that's what I put in right now. So look, moving forward, this spreadsheet, you can find the link in the description, and you can follow it as much as you want to. And that's where we're at. I try to be as transparent as I possibly can. But I will just say this. That's the price right now. I don't want to hear anybody come to me and say, oh, well, it went from 49 cents to 40 cents and I lost money, bro. I'm not your dad. So this is something I've been talking about 2 weeks ago. You can watch it right there. I'm cutting it off right here. And I'll probably do news and updates about it, but that's it. So if you want to follow that second channel, links in the description. All right, so that's it for today's video. Hope you liked it. I know I'm a little bit quick, but I got a lot of things going on. So let's do a little Q&A and get the heck out of here, shall we? Thanks for stopping by. All right. Comments. This ought to be fun. Let me get this banner out of here. So mean. Well, look, this isn't like every channel that's out there. I'm not going to sell you a bunch of stupid hopium and tell you things are going to go to 1 million tomorrow, because that's dumb. Really what it comes down to is this. All the things that you're doing right now, you're doing for yourself. You're not doing it for me. You're not doing it for anybody else. It's for you and your family. And to actually get to where you want to go takes hard work, and it takes dedication, and it takes a lot of gumption. So I'm not giving you financial advice, just financial opinion. I try to keep you abreast of what is going on in the news, what's going on behind the scenes. That's really all I can do. So just know that I will not give you a bunch of hopium and tell you that Bitcoin's going to 1 million tomorrow, because it ain't. And that's why I think, sometimes my channel doesn't do as good as it could, because I just stuck in my ways. Staking safe in a bear market? I think so. Like I stake all my Cardano, I stake all my Solana, well, most of my Solana and my Phantom, and it works out pretty well. I just don't like a lot of these DeFi plays, because if you watch yesterday's video, 97% of all the money that's been lost in quarter one of 2022 has all been by DeFi plays. So just be aware, and that's it. Now, I don't let anybody grind me down, but what I do let people know is that you meet me as you greet me, meaning I'm a pretty nice guy, right? I mean, in all shapes and forms. But there's a select few of people who say, Rob is the biggest a-hole I've ever met in my life. And the reason why they say that is because they deserve that. And not that I'm saying that everybody deserves me to be an a-hole, but I'm just saying, like, there's levels, right? So if you're angry and you're not really happy with the market, I'm just going to tell you the truth. And then we go from there. So these are the rare days when I got to be that guy. And I'm just that guy. So thank you, Mullet. Yeah, man. We'll be in London. We leave Monday. So we'll be there for Coin Bureau's event. We get to talk on stage and all that good stuff. So we'll go from there. First of all, there's no pessimism. So like what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to be just brunt with everybody, but tell you that behind the scenes, there's some pretty good things happening. And I think people just need to listen up sometimes, like sometimes I'm just a little bit too nice. I let people get away with stuff. So at some points I got to tell you like, look, this is how it is. This is what's going on. And then be that. Eric Sean, where do you find these projects so cheap? That's a great question. You know where I find these projects so cheap? Well, first of all, there's a project launching every minute, it seems like. And I get roughly 20 emails a day. And like I said before, they all suck. So if you're emailing me, don't waste your time. You're wasting space in my email account. I won't answer you, just like I always talk about here. When you see, where are we? See that little thing down there? It says, damn, sorry, Eric. I'll never contact you. I'll never contact you. So usually what happens is the people that I trust, that I like, that have worked with me in the past for certain projects, or people who are real OGs in the space, who have been around for quite a long time, that I've met in Puerto Rico, I trust their opinion because they've got past performance is not indicative of future results, but it can give you some shining light. And that's where I get a lot of my information from. And these are people that you will never see on social media. These are people that you do not know about. And that's it. So that's where I get those projects. Hope that makes sense. Can't tell you anything more. Okay. That's funny. Dancing on not mentioned. I tell you, you got to be like this with your family sometimes and kids. Oh, crud. Also, I forgot to mention this as my little rants. We're going to do DCA today. It's me, James, and Ben. James from Invest Answers, Ben from Indicator's. I'm pretty sure it's on James's channel. So I'll tweet that out as soon as I get the information and we go there. And that's it. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to leave it with this. Shannon gives me some good advice. London, people push there, and it's apparently not rude. It's just how they roll downtown. Don't be great. So now I want to get into a fight. That's good. All right, everybody. So I got to get some things done today, and that's it for this episode. I got to do a little construction, get some things done, and then I'll be back for the DCA show. I'll let you know, and that's it. So if you like today's video, maybe give it a thumbs up. I'll consider subscribing. All that great stuff. Links in the description. See you on the next one. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Adios.